Imagine this. You're running a factory. You've got the machines, the people, the orders, but every single month you're falling short. Something is secretly grinding your production to a halt, a puzzle that's hidden in plain sight on your own factory floor. We're going to dive into the story of a company that faced this exact problem and how they cracked the code. It's a huge question, right? Because falling behind isn't just about the numbers. It starts to affect everything: your growth, your customers' trust, pretty much the entire health of the business. For a company building these massive, heavy-duty gearboxes, this wasn't just some hypothetical problem. It was a real-life threat to their survival. All right, take a look at these numbers, because this is where the story really starts. The company's goal? To build and ship 12 of these giant gearboxes every month. The reality? They were only managing to get 7 out the door. That's a massive gap. We're not talking about missing the mark by a little bit. They were nearly 40% behind schedule. They had to figure out why. So, to get to the bottom of this production puzzle, they basically launched a full-scale investigation. They started looking at their entire process, from the moment raw materials came in to the second the finished product left. They were searching for the bottleneck, that one thing that was gumming up the works. But what they found wasn't one single issue, it was a whole series of hidden problems. To solve the puzzle, they started hunting for something called non-value-added time, or, just waste. Think about it this way. A customer is totally happy to pay for the time it takes to actually build a part, but they're definitely not willing to pay for the time that part spends just sitting in a corner waiting for the next step, or for the time it takes to haul it all the way across the factory. All that extra stuff, that's waste. And when they really started digging into what that waste was, the culprits started to become crystal clear. You had these incredibly heavy parts traveling huge distances between departments. You had workers literally just standing around waiting for tools or for the next part to show up. The whole work environment was so cluttered that time was being lost just trying to find things. And their inventory? A total mess, either too much stuff clogging up the floor or not enough, which caused even more delays. Okay, so once they identified all these different kinds of waste, they knew a simple little tweak here or there wasn't going to cut it. No, they needed a complete overhaul of their whole system. So they put together this comprehensive 3-part strategy, all based on the principles of lean manufacturing. So the first huge change was a complete redesign of the factory floor itself. The old way, the process layout, was to group all the same machines together, all the drills over here, all the lathes over there. This meant a single part had to take a long, winding trip all over the building. The new way, the cellular layout, was a game changer. They grouped machines together based on the parts they make. Now a part could be almost completely finished inside one little self-contained cell, which absolutely slashed all that wasted travel time. The next fix wasn't about moving the big machines, but about organizing the actual workspace. They brought in something called the 5S method, which is really just a system for creating a super clean, super efficient environment. No more wasting time searching for tools. Everything gets put in the most logical, easy-to-reach spot. And it makes problems like a broken tool immediately obvious. But what's really key here is that it also gave employees the power to take ownership and keep making their own workstations better. And the third piece of the puzzle tackled their inventory problem. Instead of just making huge batches of parts just in case they might need them, they switched to a Kanban system. You can think of it like a traffic light for the factory floor. A simple visual card signals that a part has just been used, and that signal triggers the creation of exactly one replacement, and not a moment sooner. This is the heart of what's called just-in-time production, and it completely eliminates the waste of having too much inventory sitting around. So, a new layout, a new organization system, a new way to handle inventory. I mean, it all sounds really great on paper, but did this massive effort actually solve the production puzzle? Well, let's look at the numbers. This was really the moment of truth for the whole company. After all that planning and reorganizing and training, did any of it actually move the needle? And the answer? A big, definite yes. Just look at this. Before all the changes, they were stuck at 7 gearboxes a month. After they put the new systems in place, that number jumped to 9. That's nearly a 30% increase in their monthly output, a direct result of just getting rid of all that hidden waste. But this is where the story gets really incredible. Before the changes, the actual time spent adding value, the work customers are actually paying for, was less than 1% of the total time. More than 99% of the time was just waste. After the changes, they increased that tiny slice of value-added time by over 70%. Now, that percentage still looks small, but a 70% jump is a massive leap in efficiency, all just from cutting out wasted time.
And the benefits went way beyond just the production numbers. All that travel time for parts? Cut by up to 40%. The workspace wasn't just more efficient, it was safer. And maybe most importantly, the employees felt a real sense of ownership and pride in their work. It was a cultural shift just as much as an operational one. By hunting down and getting rid of all that hidden waste, this company completely transformed its business. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? These same ideas can be used just about anywhere, not just on a factory floor, but in how you manage a project or even in your own daily routine. So, what's the hidden waste that's slowing you down?